And we're back. NBA champion Marc Gasol made his preseason debut with the Lakers Sunday. He finished with 6 points and 4 rebounds. But where the vet made the most noise came from his 5 assists. They were all highlights. Frank Vogel spoke about how Gasol's ability to dish the ball will benefit the team.
You know, I think NBA players or basketball players in general, when they know they have a guy that's going to throw them the ball, the cutting aggressiveness just picks up. And, you know, we came into this game knowing we were going to play through Marc a lot at the top of the key. Our guys had a great mindset to really move aggressively without the basketball, and then Marc would find you, especially in the paint. And, you know, we got a lot of great paint catches that some led to layups, some led to paint to great situations. And, you know, Marc gives us that dynamic. You know, it's just going to make us that more difficult to guard.
Continue to work as a team and finding solutions on both ends of the floor, building that chemistry. You know, continue to be vocal and be solution-based teammates. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's what preseason. Also building your condition as players as well. You know, we're going to play a certain way. With different guys at different times, so you have to adapt, you know, mentally and physically.
So we got our first look at Marc Gasol in a Laker uniform last night. And guys, I have to say, we knew what we were getting with him on the defensive end of the floor and the IQ on that side of the ball. But when you talk about the IQ on the offensive end, Bill, and then what we saw from a passing standpoint, I'd imagine you can only think when the superstars do come back, how this all aligns together.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Marc Gasol is that he's not the offensive player that he was in Memphis, because we think scoring when we think offensive player. But there is no reason that at his age, you know, if he's not quite as fleet of foot as he might have been at one point, you know, he is still going to be in the right spot, and he's still going to be able to find open cutters. You know, he's just always been a tremendous passer. And so, you know, when you imagine, you know, Contavious Caldwell-Pope and, you know, Wesley Matthews and some of these other guys cutting to the basket, I mean, Marc Gasol is going to find them. LeBron is going to get easy baskets from Marc Gasol and vice versa. So, you know, he's 35. I mean, I think that, you know, expectations have to sort of reflect that, but things that he is going to do is he's going to be patient, he's going to be savvy, he's going to find open cutters, just like you just saw in that clip, and then defensively he's going to be in the right spot as well. So I mean, it's not going to maybe be as showy as it was with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, you know, blocking shots out of bounds and finishing lobs, but I think there's a real potential here for Marc Gasol to be incredibly effective.
Yeah, not only does he sound like his brother Pau, but he plays a lot like. I mean, Pau, a very gifted passer, maybe the best passing big man I ever covered. And Marc is very much like him. I mean, maybe Pau operated more at the high post, and Marc prefers to hang out in the low post, but still very similar. And what Bill said is right. I mean, Marc averaged only about 7.5 points last season with Toronto. It's not like he's going to come in and have 20 and 10 every single night and a few assists. This is how he'll make his mark, you know, passing, finding guys, of course, hitting little shots, little runners and stuff like that in the lane, and maybe hit some threes as well. But it's not going to be an offensive outburst every single night, although that looks pretty good right there. Just fun to see him out here with the Lakers finally in his preseason debut.
Bill, how do you think on the defensive end of the floor, because you mentioned Dwight and JaVale, how different it will look, yet still successful for the Lakers with him anchoring down low?
Well, I mean, Allie, you know as well as anyone that LeBron is still bitter about the 2013 Defensive Player of the Year award because LeBron, in his best chance to ever win that award, ends up being the runner-up to Marc Gasol. So, I mean, listen, he's a guy who never relied on his athleticism defensively. He was, you know, it made his mark being in the right place, calling out traffic, you know, being able to switch on to guys and, you know, force them a certain direction. Just as a very, you know, just a very effective and sound defender. And you see, obviously, his defensive rating last year was tremendous, obviously, relative to those other guys. You know, and JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, I mean, that might have been the best, and with Anthony Davis, the best, you know, shot blocking tandem in the NBA. But defense is a lot more than that. And that's why you see that, you know, the guy who leads the NBA in blocked shots doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year every single season. So Gasol said, you know, in his introduction, you know, he can't jump anymore, so he needs to be in the right place. And, you know, up to this point in his career, he almost always has been.
Yeah, he can still do the armbar, probably as good as anybody in the league. I mean, when the Lakers drafted him years ago, he was kind of a burly kind of guy. Obviously, he got himself in pretty good shape and now became, over the last decade, one of the best defensive big men in the game. What does he have left in the tank? That remains to be seen. I can see him starting for sure and just kind of seeing how the minutes go from there. Will he play 20 minutes, 25? Doubt it gets to be 30 or so, but still a good defensive presence, a good save by the Lakers after losing a guy like Dwight Howard right away in free agency.
No doubt. The Lakers preseason continues Wednesday at 6 o'clock when they take on the Phoenix Suns in the first of two. Both matchups take place on the road. Our pregame coverage begins at 5 with Access Sportsnet Lakers. Now for more, let's check in with Chris McGee and Derek Fisher.
Thank you, Allie. D-Fish, Lakers get the win in the preseason on Sunday night, and all anybody can talk about, THT, Talen Horton Tucker. He was the man of the hour, wasn't he?
It seems like 96 hours.
Yeah, it really has been. MVP of the preseason going away.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's that's the world we live in now, man. It does not take long for things to catch on. And THT has positioned himself to just be one of those guys that, you know, Lakers fans and I think basketball fans are enjoying watching. He's earned his opportunity, and he's taking advantage of it, and it's good to see. He's playing good basketball.
What's impressed you most, if we could look at the stat line? The 33 points is obviously great, 11 to 17. He was 7 to 9 from the free throw line. He did have 10 rebounds also, 4 of 5 from 3, but he also had 4 assists, 4 steals. Did anything jump out at you?
I think the composure and poise, right? Separate from the numbers, I think the numbers are great, but for a young player, it's hard to slow the game down and slow yourself down sometimes, in particular when you're as talented as he is. Young players have a tendency to want to just try to go every play and make something happen. And he seems to have a poise and a composure and a pace that he can play the game at that is effective. He's aggressive, but it doesn't look like he's forcing it or trying to show out, right? He's just trying to go out and make the right basketball play. And I think that's why his teammates want him to go out and play his game.
This isn't going to happen every night, Fish, but the Lakers were 18 of 25 from 3, 72%. They have 28 assists. Basketball was moving. 7 different guys hit threes, and that's without LeBron, AD, Wes Matthews, Dennis, and some of these guys playing. This team can shoot, but it's more the way they move the ball to get those shots. At least that stuck out for me.
And typically those things line up with the percentages, right? Most nights when you shoot the ball really, really well, it's because the ball is moving. The passing is happening on time, on target. The ball is being caught in the shooting pocket. You can just go right into your shot. And having additional quality passers like Marc Gasol on the roster, I think that helps. THT is really a good passer for a young player. And this team enjoys playing basketball together. You know, I think we knew this about this Lakers team, right? When they shoot the ball well, you can't beat them, right? And
we saw that all year.
Right. And the question was, okay, can they shoot it consistently enough to perform this way, you know, 80% of the time? And, you know, if they continue to move the basketball the way they are, the additional playmakers that they've added, they can shoot the ball at a better percentage this year.
Fish, sometimes you see a team that's trying to defend a championship. They come back fat and happy, not as motivated, try to turn it on. Some are able to, some are not. You were able to do it like 3 different times, right? 02, 03. You guys won 3 in a row. But then you did it in 2010 as well. What kind of team does it take to be motivated and to just kind of keep at it? Yeah,
I mean, in my opinion, it takes your best players really setting the mark. And I think it takes a coach with a personality and a mindset as well to have a standard of excellence that he doesn't allow everybody else to get below. And so when you have that combination of LeBron and AD with Frank Vogel's personality, I think that combination of leadership, you add Marc Gasol and guys that are really serious about their craft, that's the kind of mindset you need in order to repeat as champions, because even though they are champions, there's still a humility and a hunger to their daily approach. And that's what you need in order to win multiple times. You really have to treat it like you've never won before, and that's a hard thing to do.
Since this is the first time I've really talked to you with this new team. I want to talk about the 4 new guys, Marc Gasol, Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Wes Matthews. What's your take on what they bring to this team? How important will they be to this team?
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have imagined the Lakers adding those 4 players in an offseason so short, so unprecedented. And so credit goes to the front office, to Rob, to Kurt, to Frank for really having the vision to think, how do we need to build this team if we're going to expect Anthony to sign a long-term extension, if we want LeBron to trust us for another 2 or 3 years in the direction we're going, how do we pull that off? And I think adding these type of players, Marc Gasol, Wes Matthews, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, talented guys, but also hard workers, grit, mental and physical toughness, guys that can make shots but willing to do the dirty work. You have 2 all-stars, North and South Pole. You got to just get the earth in the middle figured out.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys have you anchored. And I think 4 players like these guys, they bring the intangibles. And on different nights, each guy can give you different things. And these are great additions to a championship team.
Fish, we're lucky to have you back for another season.
Thank you, sir. Thankful to be back.
All right, Allie, back to you.
Thanks, guys. More to come on Access. So far, we have seen all the new additions in action. See which players made Brez and Orem's head turn with excitement as they reveal their top takeaways. And we're not in Orlando anymore. COVID is affecting the league like the rest of the world. Yes, even the Lakers were impacted. What does this mean for their upcoming season?